How's it going, everyone? Laughing here, and today I'm going to be going over the Mass Effect Legendary Edition graphical changes. Bioware put up a comparison video earlier in the week, kind of showing off the graphical improvements in the Mass Effect Legendary Edition compared to the original games, and they also put up a blog post as well, kind of going through that. I'm just going to be doing a brief summary of the blog posting because it is pretty dense, to be honest with you, so I'm going to kind of give you guys the highlights to make it less boring. So look forward to that. But before I get started, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It super helps me out, and if you just want more Mass Effect content going forward, I will be covering the Mass Effect Legendary Edition till it launches, and even after launches I'll be streaming the game, doing a review, what have you. So if you want more of that kind of content, make sure you hit the subscribe button. So let's hop right into the comparison video. I know I just started, but right off the bat, man, the Citadel looks just gorgeous. It looks beautiful. Getting like the Mass Effect 3 kind of vibes from that, which, you know, say what you want about Mass Effect 3, but the Citadel in that game looked really good. So we'll get back to it here, but pretty impressed just kind of with the changes that they've made. I feel like we do have a few kind of low texture, lower poly textures out there, but they're kind of far away. I don't think that's gonna be super immersive breaking, but otherwise everything looks really good here. So even the weapons on the back, the weapons, yeah, just they look very battle worn, and yeah, it's already pretty impressive kind of look. So we'll get back to it here. Completely different. It was really dark, the Citadel was in the first game. Just in general, the first game was super dark lighting wise, so I'm happy that they kind of lightened it up, which we'll see a little bit later here. So as you can see, we've got Mass Effect 3 Fem Shep here, looking pretty good in a general sense. Mass Effect 2 Fem Shep still kind of my go-to be honest with you. But even Kaidan looking a little bit nicer here as well. And yeah, armor effects. I love the lighting. Whatever they did with the lighting, I'm really impressed with. I think they, in general, did a really good job with a lot of the close-up texture models of the characters and armor. That much I will absolutely give them, and yeah, I'm actually really digging the light changes so far as well. So that's awesome. Yeah, we're gonna stop a lot here. So I mean, yeah, just the volcano, the lava, the smoke coming from it. It's the little things I feel like that are really gonna make Mass Effect 1 look really good. I gotta say, in terms of going back, that is the like #1 for me of Mass Effects that I'm really excited to go back to. Because yeah, graphically speaking and really gameplay speaking as well, Mass Effect 1 did not stand the test of time very well. So I'm really looking forward to getting back into it and having it look good. Even like the dirt kicked up by the Mako here just looks good. Bavaria looking good. I like what they did with the storm, really kind of lower visibility. All right, full stop. Say what you want about Ashley. You don't have to like her. This looks great. That's all I'm saying. Is her character model, the armor looks fantastic. I love to see it.
Why is it that whenever
Night
someone
and day
says,
difference.
with all due respect, they really mean kiss my ass?
I apologize.
All right, kicking it over to my boy Thane here. Original, not bad. Let's give it up for Mass Effect 2. Back in the day, looked really good. But man, we got the reflection in Thane's eyes, the texture on his face. They kind of showed this off originally when they first announced the game, but man, it looks good. And yeah, enhanced textures, and indeed, it looks great.
Taken.
After time adrift among open stars, along tides of light and through shoals of dust, I will return to where.
Yeah, like random, like even on Tally here, original Mass Effect, like kind of random, kind of low poly stuff, and this is much more to kind of the Mass Effect 3 look that we'd eventually get. So I dig it. Just in the lighting once again too, just looks really, really good. I really like what they did so far in terms of the more detailed models of all the characters.
Began.
You humans have a saying, an eye for an eye, a life for a life. He owes.
All right, so this is, I guess, maybe the second texture I'm not the biggest fan of, but this doesn't look that good. It looks better than Mass Effect 2, I'll give them that, but yeah, I don't know. I think they could maybe clean that up. It's probably too late. The game's gone gold. But yeah, I mean, you know, that's not looking the greatest, but otherwise, everything else is looking really good. I like the bandages on his face even. Just, yeah, I don't know. Garrus is still looking good, though. Just his armor, his beat-up armor.
Me 10 lives, and I plan
Still looks better than the original. I'll give him that.
I've got all the secrets of the galaxy at my finger.
So at first, when I first saw this, I was like, what'd they do to my girl, Liara? Like, I don't know. Looks kind of weird. I almost prefer the original, but it honestly was the color changes, to be honest with you. I think that's going to be something we're going to see a lot, and I have a feeling a lot of fans are going to kind of nitpick on is the color changes, because the colors in Mass Effect 1 were super muted, everything was super duper dark, and that wasn't the case later on in other Mass Effects, so I think it's going to turn out fine. Like I said, my initial reaction was, like, what? Like, what? Like, what'd they do? But yeah, I do actually end up thinking, I do think that Liara's looking much better here. Kind of, after thinking about it a little bit more, definitely taking the lighting in consideration. But 10 out of 10, her uniform looks way better. So that's awesome.
Fingertips. Give me 10 minutes and I could start a war.
Cinematic, looking great. Zaid never looked good. Let's be honest. He looked like a man made of skin Play-Doh. That's what his face always looked like to me. He looks better in the Legendary Edition. I give him that, but I wouldn't have shown Zaid. It could be 8K, and I still think that guy just won't look right. But fair enough. I will say, you know, the particle effects and everything look pretty solid. So that's good to see. All right, night and day difference for Anderson here. Like, yeah, which he's like one of my favorite characters, so I'm happy that they're doing him justice. I feel like in early comparison photos, maybe it was just like the color of my phone or what have you. It didn't look right to me. I thought that they screwed Anderson up, but does not seem like that's the case. Looks like they did him justice, which is good. And once again, we'll kind of see here, they uplifted a lot of the light effects as well. Much brighter. Like, I'll be honest with you, I almost don't believe that this is from the original. Like, I don't remember it being that dark, but I guess that makes sense. Very happy that they uplifted the light on that. It looks so much better. I can actually see stuff now. Can actually see the details. And as they say, you love to see it. Like, it didn't even have pupils. No pupils in the original, apparently, for you know, Commander Shepard. So, obvious good improvement here. Once again, calling out those light effects. Looking good. So it kind of gives us an idea here. I like they kind of break it down. We got 4K base assets. So everything, all the assets are based on 4K now, which is just fidelity wise for the assets, fantastic. I really dig that. Some more tone mapping as well, volumetrics and fog. So it's going to be a lot more cinematic, which is really good to see. Some more bloom. A lot of people are kind of iffy on that. Sometimes the games really overdo it on the bloom, but so far from what I'm saying, it looks pretty good. Looks like they did pretty good with it. Bokeh or depth of field on there, fantastic, makes sense. Once again, going for that cinematic approach, because little known fact, when you're watching a TV show or movies, everything is actually not in focus. Just so you know, a lot of people think everything's in focus for some odd reason. I know I did at some point. And then someone pointed out, it's like, yeah, no, like everything's not in focus. You're crazy. So that's really good to see. Once again, much more cinematic approach with that. Ambient occlusion, no idea what that is. Subsurface scattering, think that's maybe more to do with light and kind of how it's dispersed on textures. So in general, these are just some of the really great improvements that we can kind of look forward to seeing. So that's pretty awesome. They're going to kind of show off some of that here. Yeah. Looking good. Night and day difference. You gotta say, Mass Effect 1, your character always looked like a potato. So they did a good job. And there I have it. There I have it. So thanks for dealing with my constant talking and stopping and starting. But I really did want to kind of go through the trailer before we got into the blog post. Because I do feel like this does a really good job of kind of showing us what to expect. Thank you, Bioware, for actually being really open about this. And kind of the changes you guys have done. For me, as a Mass Effect fan, I really appreciate it. I've been this excited for a Mass Effect game in years. Even if it is a remaster, remake, whatever you want to call it, still gets me really excited for Mass Effect. It is one of my favorite franchises, so good job to you. A quick summary on the blog post that Bioware put up. So they went through all of the assets, got all the raw uncompressed assets that they could find, and then went through, and if they had nicer, higher quality assets from later games or DLC, they used those to kind of across like all games, which is kind of cool. And then they went through and used AI software to upscale everything to 4K, and then by hand went through a lot of the assets like the characters, weapons, vehicles, that sort of thing to make sure they all looked super nice and just kind of gave them those nice kind of touches to that as well. Cool thing is that they really focused on the lore aspect of this. So let's say there's an item in Mass Effect 1 that they had a higher quality resolution texture model for in Mass Effect 2, for instance. Like for instance, something that says maybe SR2 on it, but it's something that they could still use in Mass Effect 1. They'd go back, take that asset, put it in Mass Effect 1, but instead of having it say SR2, it'd say SR1 instead. So once again, making it so it's lore friendly, but also looks really nice at the same time. In general, I got the feeling that they put a lot of care and thought into the remaster. I know in the past we've gotten some pretty bland and kind of like lackluster remasterings of other games. This time it really does look like Bioware put a lot of the heart and soul that we know and love of Bioware into the remaster, so we can hopefully kind of get just a fantastic remaster of this trilogy and maybe get the final kind of taste of old school Bioware that a lot of us old school Bioware fans haven't gotten in a really long time. So really looking forward to kind of re-experiencing that and enjoying kind of the heyday of the Bioware developers. They also did major lighting changes as well, where they went through and updated all the lighting in all three games, making it look really good. Also kind of how the lighting affects different objects and kind of goes off those different objects, so there would be armor, fish tank, what have you. And they also tried to make the lighting across all three games more cohesive while still keeping the tone of all three, which is really great to see. Mass Effect 1's kind of tone and lighting is very different from Mass Effect 3, so they more aligned them a little bit more while once again kind of keeping the individual tones for those games still intact. And they also went through some of the shadows and other various kind of texture and graphical enhancements through all three games, kind of updated those as well to kind of fit the more modern standard that we're all kind of used to in games that come out today. They did also make some various map and environmental changes as well. So for instance, on Novaria, they removed a wall in kind of like one of the main areas to make it a little bit more open. On Pharos, they have more buildings in the background now, and the area is just kind of more battle-worn, kind of show that the Geth have attacked and have kind of sieged the area. And then also the Thorian area as well, they kind of enhanced to make it a little bit more darker, a little bit more scary, added and tweaked some of the audio elements, going to add to that. So Thorian, which in my opinion was always kind of horror-esque for Mass Effect, it looks like they've enhanced that further, so that'll be kind of fun to kind of go back through and experience that now, which is really awesome. One of the changes that they did that not everyone's a super big fan of, for me personally I'm kind of whatever on, but they changed the sky on Eden Prime and Mass Effect 1 to kind of have it be more aligned to what we see in the From Ashes DLC in Mass Effect 3, so it's much less like blood red sky, and it's a little bit more tame, a little bit more of like that kind of tropical paradise that Eden Prime kind of more is. Like I said before, this doesn't really bother me, but I guess some fans aren't the happiest about that because it really kind of set a very crazy tone when you first entered the game. I'll be kind of curious to see how that kind of changes the overall tone for the first mission in Mass Effect 1. I don't think it's gonna detract from it, but I guess I'll kind of hold my hold my judgment until I actually go through that part of the game. So that'll be kind of interesting to see in general. There is your summary of the blog post. Like I said, I didn't really hit everything. I thought I kind of hit the major points kind of going through it because it's quite the read. It's kind of thick and dense and kind of boring if I just kind of read it out to you in general. But what do you guys think of the graphical changes in the Mass Effect Legendary Edition? Does this make you excited for the game coming out on May 14th? Or are you still kind of on the fence and kind of hesitant? Let me know down in the comments below. Either way, I really want to know what you guys are thinking. But if you want more Mass Effect content going forward, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be live streaming this game. I'm going to be doing a review and a why I buy video for it. So there's a lot more Mass Effect content coming from me in the future. So if you don't want to miss it, like I said, hit that subscribe button. I do want to say thank you so much for watching this video. You guys are fantastic. Do something good for yourself. And as always, take care.